Even if you meet every financial requirement, one wrong answer in your consulate interview could still get you denied, and most people don't even realize that they're saying it.
The consulate interview can feel intimidating, but the outcome often depends more on what you say in that short conversation than on the stack of papers you bring.
In this video, we'll show you how to prepare for your Mexican consulate interview, what to say and what not to say, so that you can walk out confident and ready for the next step in your residency process.
And we'll share a real example from one of our one-on-one consultations to show you how a small change in wording can make a huge difference.
Let's start with what the consulate interview is really about. It's not an interrogation, and they're not there to test your Spanish or your nerves.
Their main goal is to make sure everything you've submitted, your financial statements, your passport, and application, tells a consistent story. They want to see that what's on paper matches what you're saying in person.
In other words, they're trying to understand your intention. Are you genuinely planning to make Mexico your home, whether it's full-time or for most of the year, or are you just looking for a long-term visitor pass?
That's an important distinction because the residency visa isn't meant for frequent travelers who pop in and out. It's for people who are establishing roots here, people who are actually going to use their residency.
We've seen this many times. Someone might qualify financially but still get denied simply because their answers make it sound like they're testing the waters or just seeing how things go.
And that's where people get tripped up. The officer isn't judging your lifestyle. They just need to confirm that your goals align with the purpose of the visa.
So before you even schedule your interview, it helps to be clear in your own mind. Why do I want residency? What role will Mexico play in my life? Once you answer that clearly, the interview becomes a lot easier.
And if you're not quite sure whether you meet the financial requirements for temporary or permanent residency, we've put together a free visa requirements guide that walks you through the current income and savings threshold. Just type Mexican visa in the comments below and we'll send it right to you. It's a great starting point before you begin the process. Once you sit down for your interview, the officer will probably ask a few very similar questions to everyone applying. They're simple on the surface, but how you frame your answers matters. Think of it less a test and more like a conversation about your plans.
You can expect questions like, when do you plan to move to Mexico? Where will you be living? Why are you moving to Mexico?
These aren't trick questions, but they do help the officer understand whether your plans match what a residency visa is for.
For example, if you say something like, we're thinking about moving someday, maybe in a few years, that tells them that you're still in the planning phase and they might decide it's too soon to issue you a visa.
A better way to answer is to keep your time frame focused on the near future. Something like, we're in the process of relocating and expect to be spending most of our time in Mexico soon. That shows readiness and intent, two things officers want to hear.
The same applies when they ask why you're moving. Instead of talking about what you want to get away from, talk about what draws you to Mexico, the culture, the pace of life, the sense of community.
Keep politics completely out of it. That shift from I'm leaving the political climate in my country to I'm choosing to live in Mexico makes a huge difference. It sounds confident, grounded, and consistent with the idea of making Mexico your home base.
And if they ask where you'll be living, it's perfectly fine to mention that you're still exploring, as long as it's within reason. You could say, we'll be renting first while we get settled, probably in San Miguel de Allende or another similar town.
That shows flexibility without sounding uncertain. Many people truly don't know where they want to live long term. The officer just wants to see that your plans are realistic and that you've thought through your move.
Remember, you don't need rehearsed answers, just clear ones that match what your documents and your timeline already show. To give an example of how this plays out in real life, let's talk about a recent consultation we had.
We spoke to a young doctor from San Diego who's in the middle of planning his move to Mexico. He's a foreign national who already meets the financial requirements for permanent residency through rental income from several properties and has done a lot of research already. But he wasn't sure how to present his situation at the interview.
His main question was one we hear often. Should I tell the officer I'll be living part-time in Mexico and part-time in the US?
It's an honest answer. And for many people, it's the reality at first. But here's where it gets tricky. If you say you'll just be spending part of the year in Mexico, the officer might decide you don't really need residency at all.
That's because residency implies that Mexico is becoming your home base, even if you'll continue to travel elsewhere. So we've helped him reframe his response to reflect the intention without overstating it.
Instead of saying, I'll be in Mexico part-time, we suggested something like, I'm establishing my home base in Mexico and plan to spend most of my time there while continuing to travel when I need to.
That's true to his situation, and it signals commitment. It tells the officer, I'm serious about this move without pretending he'll never leave Mexico.
He also wanted to bring his wife, who currently lives in another country, to join him. They plan to live near the border so he can continue some work commitments in the United States. That raised another common question. How much should I explain about that?
We told him to keep it simple. He can mention that his wife will be joining him at a later date and that they're establishing their household in Mexico, ideally in a specific city near the border, but not to focus on the US side of the plan.
Exactly. It's about centering the story on Mexico. The consulate only cares about how and why you're establishing your life in Mexico.
That kind of clarity about your base, your family, and your plans helps the interview go much smoother.
And that's exactly what these one-on-one sessions are for, helping people think through how to communicate their genuine intentions in a way that's both honest and strategic.
And for those of you who want to take this step further and experience what life in Mexico is really like, not just watch videos about it, we're hosting something special here in San Miguel. If you've ever dreamed about moving to Mexico, this is for you. Figuring it all out on your own can feel overwhelming. Visas, neighborhoods, healthcare, rentals, real estate, the list goes on and on. Which is exactly why we're hosting our very first Move to Mexico Discovery Week in San Miguel de Allende to give you clarity and answers you need all in 1 week.
It's happening March 2nd through March 10th, 2026, and we only have 10 rooms available. Once they're gone, that's it.
You'll settle in for 7 nights at our boutique B&B Antigua Capilla. We will explore San Miguel, Guanajuato, and Querétaro at a pace that lets you really see what life here feels like.
You'll sit down with the immigration lawyer we trust, the health insurance broker we recommend, the real estate and rental agents who know the local market inside and out.
So scan the QR code or click the link in the description to reserve your place today. If this sounds like the kind of experience you've been waiting for, don't wait. We only have a few spots left. And if we're already sold out by the time you watch this, you can join the waiting list to be among the first to know about future Discovery Weeks. Now that you've seen how we approach the doctor's situation, let's talk about what consulate officers are really looking for during these interviews.
Above all, they're looking for consistency between your documents, your story, and your stated plans. If everything aligns, the process tends to go very smoothly.
Think of it this way. Your financials show you can live in Mexico, and your interview shows that you intend to. Those two pieces have to fit together.
Officers are also paying attention to how prepared and organized you are. When your paperwork is clear, labeled, and easy to follow, it gives them confidence that you're serious about the process.
We've heard from applicants and from immigration professionals we've worked with that officers really do appreciate when someone walks in calm, respectful, and prepared. It makes their job easier and it sets a positive tone from the start.
And remember, every consulate has its own rhythm and personality. Some are more conversational, others more formal, but in all cases, they want to see that your plans make sense, that your answers and your documents tell the same story.
So take a moment before your appointment to double check that everything lines up. Your bank statements, your application form, and the timeline you'll mention in the interview. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Now, what if things don't go perfectly? You've done everything right, you show up prepared, and the officer still says no.
First, don't panic. A denial doesn't mean you're permanently disqualified. It just means that for that specific interview or that specific consulate, something didn't line up the way they needed it to.
We've seen people get denied for small details, like mentioning a future move date that felt too far away, or presenting bank statements that didn't clearly show the required average balance. These are fixable things.
The good news is that you can reapply, sometimes even right away, either at the same consulate or at a different one. Mexico's immigration system allows flexibility. The consulates interpret the guidelines slightly differently.
So if one office is particularly strict, you might have a smoother experience at another. The key is to understand why you were denied, correct that issue, and try again.
And it's worth noting, a denial at a consulate doesn't automatically go into a shared national record or anything like that. It's not a black mark on your immigration history.
Exactly. The next officer will look at your new application on its own merits. So take the feedback, adjust your approach, and go back in with clarity and confidence.
The best way to walk into your consulate interview with confidence is simple. Go prepared, not by memorizing answers, but by being clear about your story. Take a breath, slow it down, and know exactly what you want to communicate.
Review the main questions we talked about and practice saying your answers out loud. You'll quickly hear if something sounds uncertain or inconsistent. The goal isn't perfection, it's just clarity.
Make sure your paperwork supports what you're saying. Organize your documents in the exact order listed on your consulate website. Label your copies. Always bring extras just in case. It sounds small, but it makes a big difference in how smoothly that appointment will go.
And remember, the officers see dozens of applicants every day. When you show up calm, courteous, and organized, you immediately stand out. You are making their job easier, and that helps your chances.
If you'd like some extra guidance before your appointment, we can walk you through it together. In our one-on-one consultations, we can help you check your financials, review your forms, and practice how to answer the kinds of questions that come up most.
And don't forget, you can also type Mexican visa in the comments to get your free visa requirements guide, which outlines current income and saving thresholds for temporary and permanent residency.
Getting your residency in Mexico starts with preparation and understanding, not luck.
Exactly. When you know what the process is about, it becomes a lot less intimidating and a lot more achievable.
Thanks so much for watching. If this video helped you, give it a like, share it with someone planning their move, and be sure to watch this video next to find out how much you can expect to pay for your Mexican residency in 2026.
And if you're preparing for your own consulate interview soon, you've got this. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.